A very good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America in Washington. I am Kip Stube.
And I'm Marvelous Mhlanganya. We are broadcasting from my home in Washington, D.C. due to the COVID-19 or coronavirus pandemic, which is currently ravaging the whole world, including Zimbabwe. Currently, in the world, we have 37 million cases, according to Johns Hopkins University, and 1 million deaths. And in America, we have 7.7 million people that have contracted COVID-19 with 768,000 deaths.
In Zimbabwe, Marvelous, we've got 8,010 people that have contracted COVID-19 and 6,492 that have actually survived COVID-19. So it seems things are moving very well in Zimbabwe, and there are 230 deaths. This according to the Ministry of Health. So as Marvelous is saying, there are almost 38 million people that have contracted COVID-19 worldwide. It seems, Marvelous, in America, there are so many people that have got COVID-19. So, Zurugandaba, Ingalchola Janapel Kona, and down Zonke, Zomklaba, SGNO, Lapaka Skuluma, in COVID-19. When Zimbabwe is 8,010, that's about COVID-19. Kutige Mtaben, Kutige Asebe Silile by 6,492, Aseba Pupayo by 230. So, Mkutani Lo Ungani, Kulabo Zimarapa Marvelous. Emhlabeni wonke jikelele kulabantu 38 million asebanjwe COVID-19 abedlula isigidi 1,077,629 sebabhubha. Kuthi-ke lapha kwelemelika kulabantu phose 8 million asebanjwe COVID-19 abayi 214,776 sebabhubha.
Aiwa, kune avo vachangobva kupinda muchirongwa tinokuchingamidzai nemufaro pano pachirongwa chedu cheLiveTalk. Icho tiri kutefenyura tiri kumba pamusoro pedenda rechirwere cheCovid-19 kana kuti coronavirus icho chatekeshera pasi rose. Bazi rezveutano munyika rinoti iro pane vanhu 8,000 vawanikwa vachibatwa nedenda irori reCovid-19 pari zvino. Tichiona zvakare kuti vamwe vakawanda vanosvika kuma 6,000 uko vawanikwa vachibata denda iri vachiwanikwawo vachirirwisa. Asi kune zvakare vanhu vakabatwa nedenda iri vakawanikwa ivo vachishaya vanosvika ivo 230 pari zvino munyika. Totarisa pasi rose, denda iri rabata vanhu vanoda kutosvika 38 million pasi rose, zvichisanganisira Zimbabwe. Pouya vanhu vashaya vanosvika ivo 1 million pari zvino. America uko tiri kutefenyura tiri, kune vanhu vakuda kutosvika ivo 8 million vabatwa nedenda irori reCovid-19. Kuchiwanikwa iko kune vanhu 214,000 zvichidaudzira vawanikwa ivo vachishaya. Saka ndo zvimwe zvatichange tiri kukurukura pamusoro pazvo muzuva ranhasi. Titarisa zvakare kuti nyaya huru iripo inyaya yezuva remwanasikana kana kuti International Day of the Girl Child, rakawanikwa iro richirangarirwa nezuro neUnited Nations uyezve nemapato anomirira masangano evanasikana uyezve anomirira iwo kuchengetedzwa kwekodzero dzevanasikana. Tichange tiine vanyarikane ipo pano vachange vachitaura nesu pamusoro pezviri kuitika panyaya yezviri kusangana nevanasikana pari zvino.
Yes, I think we've got our first guest, and that is Miss Sibusisi Wendlovu. She works for Plan International. She's the communications manager based in Harare. Welcome to the program, Ms. Wendlovu.
Thank you very much, Gibbs.
Thank you so much. So tell us, what are you doing as Plan International, in terms of the girl child?
Okay, firstly, I'll talk about International Day of the Girl. We're very excited and happy that, this day was adopted by the United Nations from December 2011. And this is a day where we celebrate the power of the girl, as well as highlight the barriers that pull girls back from reaching their full potential. Talking about the 11th that we celebrated yesterday, it actually took place as we're under, the COVID-19 global pandemic, and many girls in Zimbabwe, as well as all around the world, were affected by a lockdown that resulted in them being at home. And being at home doesn't necessarily mean that it's a safe place. There are some girls who were under lockdown with abusers. Some were beaten up, some were raped. Some girls experienced like labor, because you're home, you have to go and collect water, collect firewood, do the household chores, and as a result, like, they haven't been able to, catch up on their studies. Some have even fallen pregnant during this lockdown. Some have even been married off due to, difficult, economic environment for their parents who don't have a means to make a living, but have resorted to actually marrying the girl child off. So this International Day of the Girl is planned international at a global level. We've been focusing on online safety because due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've been forced more online. And as a result of this, Plan International conducted a global study, and we released it on the 5th of November, the State of the World Girls Report. In this report, we spoke to over 14,000 girls across 22 countries, and over 50% of these girls say they've experienced some sort of online harassment or abuse. So when I say online harassment and abuse, this could be requests for like inappropriate photographs, or being sent inappropriate material or video clips. This could be body shaming, even, where girls and young women are being labeled, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too light, you're too dark, you're disabled, or sometimes even just being victimized for just expressing, their thoughts or not they think on a particular issue. So this study revealed that, because of this online abuse, this online harassment, girls and young women are actually refraining and moving away from using internet, moving away from using social media platforms. Yet this is a key development area where through the internet, girls can actually access, education through research. It can open up employment opportunities for girls, like online. So, as Plan International this year, our theme is freedom online, basically, where we are engaging government and different stakeholders in who are internet service providers to actually make the space safe for girls and young women, because it's absolutely critical that women become actively and feel free to engage on social media platforms.
If I may just come in there, what did you find when you look at the young women or girls in Zimbabwe regarding their use of social media in your study?
Okay, in our research, we actually spoke to some girls, like in Epworth, for example. There's a young lady that we spoke to there who actually highlighted the fact that because data bundles are so expensive, and sometimes they don't even have that the gadgets like the computers and the smartphones, they actually sleep with boys in exchange for money for data, in exchange to get money to buy a phone, and so forth. And also there are issues also to do with internet access. If we look at the rural area, the rural girl, like in Zimbabwe, we know the internet infrastructure is very poor. There's not much connectivity going on there. And during the lockdown, you'll appreciate that there were online lessons that were being conducted. But due to the fact that, the rural girl did not have access to the internet platforms, they lost out. They lost out there in terms of their studies. So as Plan International, we're just engaging the relevant ministries and stakeholders to put in place infrastructure, that will benefit girls and young women, both in rural and urban areas, for them to progress as we move towards a global future, so to speak.
So ke ungakufaka ngesindebele khonokho ke siza ukuthi as Plan International nxa likhangela isimo sabantwana abangamankazana kuhamba njani, ufakela khonokho isibili ukuthi kule International Day of the Girl Child ngamafitshane sibe.
Okay, salithakazelela ilanga lamantombazane International Day of the Girl, and nxa sikhangela lonyaka ilanga lona leli silikhumbula ngensuku lapho kule COVID-19 silisana layo. So lizakhumbula ukuthi ekuqaliseni komnyaka kusiba le COVID lapha eZimbabwe, izikolo zavalwa, and lokho yinto eyakhathaza amankazana amaningi kakhulu. Amankazana amaningi nxa behamba esikolo bathola ithuba lokuthi ngingathi ukuthi bayabaleka kumbe bayasuka ngikhaya bayofunda. Njengoba kule lockdown, amankazana njengoba sebehlezi ngikhaya, bakhona abatshaywayo, bakhona abadlwengulwayo, abanye bayathunywa okungapheliyo njalo nje. Umuntu ecina sokungani ngesilungu bathi slave, ukuthi yabephonga ukusebenza njalo nje okungapheliyo engasaphumuli. Abanye ngendaba zokuthi abazali kabasasebenzi ngesikhathi sona lesi se-lockdown. Siyathola ukuthi abazali bathi ngcono sikuchadise phela ukuze lathi sithole inkomo zibuye ngikhaya. Abanye bachadisa abantwana ukuthi bethole okudla ukuthi bengabi imuli abantu bebantutshwana ukuthi bebatholele ukudla. So lonyaka njengeplan international besikhangelele khona lokhu ukuthi njengoba kuyisikhathi se-COVID baningi abantu sebesebenzisa okunjenge-internet ukuze baxoxisane. So i-internet yona le nxa siyikhangele sayenza i-study sathola ukuthi lapha amantombazane kabaphathwa kuhle kuma-social media platforms lapho, ukuthi abanye bayathethiswa, abanye bayachothozwa, kuze kuthiwa wena uyisidudla kakhulu, wena ucake kakhulu, ukukhulumeleni khona lokhu. So khona lokhu akubaphathi kuhle amantombazana, kuyabenza ukuthi bengabi le confidence in themselves. So njengenhlanganiso ye-Plan International sikhuthaza amadoda labafana ukuthi nxa besebenzisa ama-platforms wona la ukuthi bebohlonipha abantwana bangamankazana lamantombazana, bekhulumisane bexoxisane kuhle ngokuhloniphana.
Thank you so much. Maybe regating Boyenda kuna muzvare Vivian Mombotudzo stare organization yenyu uyezve zvamakabata panguva yanezuro ye-International Day of the Girl Child.
Mazvita is organization yedu inonzi Farming Community Educational Trust kana kuti facet muchidimbu. Tinenge tichitarisana nevanasikana vanogara mumaprazi kana kuti mumafarms. Tinoziva kuti izvoni vanasikana vedu tingangovaita atinoti izvoni maclusters. Kune vasikana vemumadhorobha, vasikana vekumaruwa, but takaona kuti izvoni pakungogeneraliza kuti vasikana vekumaruwa, vasikana vanogara mumaruwa atajaira aya nevasikana vanogara mumafarms, makuriro avo, magariro avo akati siyanei. Saka isu tinotarisana nevasikana vanogara mumaprazi. Nezuro se-International Day of the Girl Child takaendawo kunzvimbo kwatiri kuitirawo project yedu, tanga tiri muGlendale, tikatora vasikana vashoma in line with the COVID regulations, tikagara navo pasi tida kunzwisisa kuti ndeapi matambudziko avanga vachisangana nawo. Takashangana navo kusati kwave neCOVID, and iko zvino zvikoro zvakuda kunovhurwa tamboita nguva vana vasingaende kuchikoro paine COVID. Saka tachida kungonzwisisa kuti ndeapi matambudziko angasangana nevana, kuitira kuti kana takushanda tese tinoresponda kune zvavari kuda, noti zvatinofungidzira kuti ndo zvingangova zvaakuitika iko zvino. Saka nezuro tichicherechedza zuva iri takagara pasi nevana vachitaura matambudziko avari kuona mukugara kwavo zuva nezuva. Tine vana vanobva pazera re10 kunosvika pa20. Vana ava vamwe vavo vari kugrade 5 kunosvika pane form 4. Takaita kuti tinhonge mazera akati siyanei, nekuti zvinovawira, matambudziko anovawira anokwanisa kunge akati siyaneiwo, uye kukura kwavo nekunzwisisa kwavakuita maissues kunenge kwati siyanei. Saka nezuro takaswe
muzvare kuti matambudziko api ari kunzi nevana vamakasangana navo vari kutarisana navo pari zvino?
mazvita henyu. Vana ava vazhinji vacho vari kusangana nedambudziko rekumbunyikidzwa kunyanya munguva iyoyi yelockdown, pavanga vari mulockdown vasingaende kuchikoro. Tikuona kuti izvoni pavanenge vari muzvikoro, it's more like a safe space for vana. Saka apa pavanenge vari kumba, vari kuswera kumba, vari kuswera nevanenge vachifanirwa kunge vachivachengeta, ndo vari kuvambunyikidza, ingava physical violence kana sexual violence chaiyo chaiyo. Saka vana vazhinji vari kutarisana nedambudziko rekumbunyikidzwa. Zvakare mabasa avari kushanda sezvambotaurwa namukoma wangu achangobva kutaura, mabasa ari kushandwa nevanasikana akati wandei. Seipapa vasingaende kuchikoro, ndo vanochera mvura, ndo vanobikira vanhu. Kumunda kwacho nemumapurasi kavanenge vachiita zvekurima, vanotoendawo vachinobatsira. Then kana vakudzoka semwanasikana ndiye akunzi sakumbozorora tibikirewo kavasikana. Saka vanasikana havasi kuwana nguva yekuti izvoni vazorore kana kuverengawo sevana vari kuenda kuchikoro. Saka ndo mamwe ematambudziko avari kusangana nawo.
I will move over to you, Maitsunga. If you can just tell us about your organization and, what kind of activities are you doing, especially looking at yesterday's event, the International Day of the Girl Child. What was your organization up to?
Thank you very much, Marvelous. Right, I'm the director of Itemba for Girls Trust, which is based in Manicaland, working with the Mtasa district as a pilot project. Right, my organization right now, we are actually very grateful that this day, the International Day of the Girl Child, is in place, because we all know that girls are vulnerable and they face more challenges than any other age group in their everyday life. So they need the support not only of their parents, but the support of the whole community for to fight for the cause of the girl. Right, regarding the yesterday's day, we tried to engage with the community, especially the Mtasa community, regarding the Education Amendment Act, which has allowed the girls, pregnant girls, to continue with their education. But unfortunately, we realized that there is a bit of resistance among the parents, among the communities, that this is, according to them, they think this is not a good idea because it will encourage promiscuity amongst the girls. And as a result, they are not actually for the idea of girls learning as when pregnant. So it requires a lot of work to actually convince them that this act is put in place to empower girls, and also to promote the right of education, because the fact that these girls are pregnant does not mean that they should their right to education can be sacrificed. They can still continue learning even if they are pregnant, but there's a bit of resistance. So we need to work more to convince them more so that they are aware that this is actually going to benefit the girls more in the long run, because the fact that girls have become pregnant does not mean that they should actually be denied their right to education and be destined to a future life of perpetual poverty just because they fell pregnant. They can pick themselves up and continue with their education and do better for themselves in the future.
Yes, lo mama Adonsi ngicela libambe khona lapho ke mama khona ngapho. Adonsi siyakwamukela kuhlelo.
Ngiyabonga baba Dube, salibonana.
Yebo, so akutsho ukuthi uqhatheke kangakanani ukuthi kunanzwe usuku lwamantombazana kule International Day of the Girl Child.
Leli langa liqhakatheke kakhulu ukukhumbuza umphakathi ukuqhakatheka komntwana oyintombazana. Njalo ukukhumbuza njalo umphakathi ukuthi kumele umntwana oyintombazana agcinwe njani, akhuselwe njani. Njalo ukuxazulula inkinga ezidibana labantwana abangamantombazana. Siyabona ukuthi abantwana bamantombazana balenkinga eziningi abahlangana nazo bebancane besiya baze bayafika ku-university baze bayekuba ngomama abaphefumuli nxa ukuthi esesikolo uyabehlukunyezwa ngutitsha nxa esekhaya uhlukunyezwa ngumzali nxa ukuthi siyadlala phandle uhlukunyezwa ngumakhelwane so abantwana bayahlukunyezwa kakhulu abantwana abangamankazana ethi noma sekhule sesiye secondary uyahlukunyezwa aye e-university ahlukunyezwe njalo ngama-lecturer so leli langa ngelokukhumbuza umphakathi ukuthi kanti vele umntwana oyintombazana kumele aphathwe njani kumele ahlonitshwe njani kumele agcinwe njani njalo futhi liyakhumbuza lolu suku ukuqakatheka kwabona umntwana oyintombazana liyamkhumbuza ukuthi uqakatheke okunganani njalo kumele athathe izinqumo ezinjani aphile njani ukuze ikusasa lakhe libe lihle so ilanga leli liqakatheke kakhulu noma nje kulusizi ukuthi silokho sikhuluma ngezinto zakudala nanku sesibe le covid sokulamanye ama-effects abuye le covid kodwa previously besivele silama challenges kodwa kucaca ukuthi kunzima ukuthi ama challenges lawa asolve kube le solution to solve these challenges especially ukudlwengulwa kwabantwana ukwendiswa kwabantwana bebancane enye into ebuhlungu kakhulu ukuthi abazali nxa umntwana esedlenguliwe kumbe umntwana wazithwala into abayenzayo bayacela nje ukuthi bayabhadalisa leyo muli kodwa ukubhadalisa leyo muli phela kuthi ukuthi umntwana uzathola lokho alahlekelwe yikho njalo futhi akusuze kubhadala ukuthi impilo yakhe ibe enhle so ngibona ngani indaba yokuhlukumezeka komntwana oyintombazana iqala ilempande kumele kuqale ebazaleni labazali indlela abakhuliswa ngayo kumele ikhangelwe indlela yakhona ukuze abantwana bakwazi ukuphila at a safe environment so enye into ukuthi ama-organization siyawabona amaningi bakithi ama-organization lawo maningi kakhulu okungani kuyangihlukumeza mina ukuthi njengoba ama-organization lawo emaningi angaka sibe silokhu sikhuluma ngento eyi-one yindaba bengahlangani bahlangane lo mphakathi kambe umphakathi bangahlangana lo mphakathi labo bahlangane ngobuningi babo mbonani kulezinye izinto sokuthi ngakhathesi kunje sezixazululiwe njalo amapholisa especially emthethweni umthetho kumele ube khona nxa sebebeke umthetho lama-policies babeka ama-rules kumele ukuthi angafakwa emashelfini kodwa asebenze kumele ukuthi asebenze.
Yes, so she's saying that there are so many organizations that focus on the girl child. And at times there's this kind of, some just fall off the radar and that becomes problematic. So Marvelous, go ahead, maybe chat with Bosi, and then we'll bring the other guest.
I think Tombozo Keraku, Plan International, going back to Plan International. So what is your plan for the future? Looking at the status of young girls in Zimbabwe and some of the challenges that they're facing. We've also heard from the other organizations that are sharing some of the issues that they are seeing on the ground.
Is to reduce unwanted child pregnancies, child marriages. And we're focusing on 4 thematic areas, which are inclusive quality education, youth economic empowerment, gender transformative child protection, as well as sexual reproductive health and rights. So in these 4 thematic areas, we are running like various projects throughout the country. We're in Cholocho, Bulawayo, Chiredzi, Midlands, Mutoko, Manicaland, just in a number of places around the country where we have various projects where we're working with girls and young women, we're working with ministry, we're working with other like-minded organizations to empower the girl child.
aiwaregaitende kuna muzvare Virginia muri kunzwawo zviri kutaurwa nePlan International. Imi zvirongwa zvamakagadzirira munguva inotevera mukuedza kuti muwanikwe muchishanda nevanasikana munzvimbo dzamuri kwamataura kuti munoshanda nevasikana vari kumapurazi pari zvino?
Mazvita isusu donzvo redu nderekuti vana vagare kuchikoro, vaende kuchikoro. So kuti izvozvo zviitike tinenge tichibhadharirawo vanasikana ma-school fees, and tinofungidzira kuti kana tikadaro vana vakaenda kuchikoro havazomhanyiriwo kunoroorwa kutoita machild marriages atiri kutaura nezvawo. Tinenge tichivabatsirawo kana nestationary, nekuti kana mwana akaenda kuchikoro akabhadharirwa school fees chete, kana asina zvekunyoresa zvacho nezvekushandisa aenda kuchikoro, hapana zvatinenge tagona. Saka tinozama kuvapawo mapeks ekuti kana vaenda kuchikoro kwachoni vanenge vafananawo nevamwe vanenge vaine zvinhu zvekushandisa. Tinenge tichishandawo futi nevana vanenge vaita drop out of school. Pane vamwe vano drop out nekuti anenge achiti inini zvangu ini zvechikoro handizvikwanisi. Tinovatsvagirawo zvekuita mushando wemaoko, tovadzidzisawo. Pane inonzi catch up education yekuasesa kuti mwana uyu anokwanisa here zvechikoro kana ambosiya chikoro, kana kuti uyu oita atingati kudzidziswa zvemushando wemaoko, ingava zvekusona kana kurima kwachoni. Since vari kumapurazi vaya vanenge vachiti ini ndofarira zvekurima, but vanodawo kakaruzivo kekuziva kuti kana ndaane munda wangu, kana ndakurimawo 1 hectare yangu, ndinokwanisa kuwana mari sei kana raramo from that. Saka ndo zvimwe zvatinenge tichitora chiendesa kuma-community.
Tomboenda kuna Mai Tsunga. Manga muri kutaura imi kuti muri kuedza kutaura panyaya yebill redzidzo. Tisanangurewo murimirwa Mai kuti zvii zvamuri kuita sesangano kuedza kudzidzisa vana vechidiki nevabereki vavo munzvimbo yamuri kushanda.
Okay, ndataura kuti we are engaging with the community because munoziyawo kuti hanzi mwana anofanira kuchengetedzwa the whole community kuti akure zvakanaka. If everyone is aware kuti kodzero yemwanasikana yakamira sei and are supportive, they are going to play a better role in raising mwana. Saka izvozvo zvitiri kuengage ne-community kuvadzidzisa kuti the Education Amendment Act iri kutaura kuti chii, because yauya yachinja kuti mwana musikana chero akaita nhumbu haafaniri kudzingwa kuchikoro, ikodzero yake kuti aenderere mberi nedzidzo yake. But kune a bit of resistance, but tiri kutrya kuengage navo kuitira kuti vanzwisise kuti zvakaitwa negovernment izvi zviri kuda kubatsira mwanasikana remangwana rake, so that kodzero yake yeeducation inoraswa nekuti aita nhumbu. Because tikasadaro, which means vana ava vanoenda koroorwa vari vadiki vasina chikoro, havazogoni kuita mabasa akanaka, havazogoni kuita kuzvimiririra voga, their voice has been taken away. Saka tiri kuengage ne-community. And then the other thing yatiri kuita is kuti ti-encourage vana, tibvise some of the challenges ino-affecta vasikana kuti vasaende kuchikoro. Like yakafanana nekuti vana havana ma-sanitary pads, and in most cases vanopedzisira vakuregera kuenda kuchikoro nekuti haana sanitary pad yekuti apfeke azvibatsire during her period. Saka izvozvizvi our organization is creating atinoti ma-sanitary pad banks muzvikoro, so that kunenge kune a ready supply yema-pads, so that we encourage tikurudzire vana kuti vaende kuzvikoro nekuti vanenge vachiwana mapads ikokoko, because tinoziya kuti vasikana vasingawani mapads vanopedzisira vasingachaendi kuchikoro. And musikana anogona kusaenda kuchikoro, which means anorasikirwa ne4 days pamwedzi wega wega. Tikatarisa mazuva esaya, it will add up to about over 40 days a year of arasikirwa nenguva iyoyoyo, and arasikirwa nedzidzo yakewo. Saka zvinobva zvaafectawo kuti agone kunyora achipasawo chikoro, nekuti zvimwe zvidzidzo zvaitwa asipo. Saka masanitary pad banks aya anokurudzira vana anoencourage vana vasikana kuti vaende kuchikoro vawane mapads vabatsirwe kana vari paperiod instead of kuti vagare kumba ndezvimwe zvinhu zvatiri kuita izvozvozvo. And then another thing is to create a support system pachikoro inonzi girl empowerment clubs, and where we train girls kuti aite peer educators vachi-educatana voga regarding setting positive goals regarding sex education kuti vasamhanyire kuenda pabonde nevakomana, regarding building up self-esteem yavo neconfidence, zvinhu zvakadaro, because we know kuti vamwe vacho vanenge vasina that kind of education, because ma-African families hatisi kuda kutaura nenyaya dzebonde nevana vasikana. Tinoti it's a taboo, but it's no longer a taboo now. Tinofanira kutaura nezvazvo, vana vapiwe information yakakwana, vaziye kuti zvinotaura kuti chii. Kana mukomana kati anondida, anoramba sei, like someone else in mbotaura kuti anoramba sei. Zvese izvozvo zvinofanira kuti vasikana vadzidziswe.
Thank you so much.
So Siyamuza Wakuluge, Usiwe has requested to rush for a certain event. So she has gone now. Sibusiso Plan International. And we really appreciate that she came for the show today. And she's requesting that we can have some more discussions of this nature, you know. And I think the ladies here are very, very happy with what is going on. So Mama Konapo ungangati Sibiso Munye, ungati nxasikhangela ke khonokho kwamabhenki enu lawa ama-pads lawa. So singathi kuhamba njani xa wasibekela nje amafutshane nawo?
Hayi, ama-bank ama-sanitary pads ahamba kuhle. Okwakhathesi sicela ama-donations ebantwini, sesacela ama-donations, abantu badoneta, sesihamba sivula amabhenki ukuthi isinye lesinye isikolo sibe le-supply ekhona ukukwana the whole term yamantombazana, ukuthi kungabi lo ntombazana oyedwa ozakwekela ukuya esikole ngenxa ukuthi gala sanitary pad. So ama-sanitary pad la asesikolo, amantombazana bayeza esikolo ukuthi bawathole, ngoba sizama ukuthi sibakhuthaze futhi ukuthi babuye esikolo. So siwagcina esikolo ukuthi bawathola kuphela uma bebuyile esikolo. Yikho esizama ukwenza khona.
Yes, siyakuzwa kakhulu ke. Adonsi siyakubona subuyile. So ke nxa usukhangele sibili wena ngokwakho lokho kuthiwa i-cyber bullying kumantombazana. Kujayeleke kangakanani? Amafutshane sibili 2 minutes.
Lokhu kujayelekile kakhulu, especially sibona ngendaba zabantu ama-video agcina segcwele indawo yonke, amanye abantu bengagqokanga, abanye kusenziwa into ezingayisizo, amanye ama-picture lawo. So into eyenzakalayo, into lezi zikabili, bakhona ababevumelene bodwa ukuthi bazofakelana ama-picture lawo, kodwa nxa omunye wakhona angathatha ayifake ku-internet, kwenza ukuthi intombazana leyo isakwazi lokuya esikolo, sisesaba, abantu bonke sebehamba bemhleka, even imuli layo iyakwazi ukuthi imhlamukele ngoba babengafuni uhlazo lolo lwabe luyenzakele. So abanye labo bayafoswa ukuthi bayenze izinto lezi, omunye umuntu amforce maybe at gunpoint, like sike sezwa ukuthi khona bekulamanye amasotsha ngesinye isikhathi besithi bona bengafika endaweni bathi bona lala lo mntana wakho kumbe yenza so bakuthatha ipicture, then ipicture lani bisihamba ngezinye izinto nje ezenzakalayo. So lokuthi umuntu engaposta nje ipicture yakhe nje ubezipostela yedwa, then kube sokuthiwa into ayenzileyo i-wrong, uyabona, kube kuthiwa yebo lesi sesikhulu kumbe lokho okuthiweyo. Kodwa so into le iyenzakala kakhulu, kodwa ukuze siqede into le kufanele ukuthi kule mithetho yokuthi umuntu angathatha ivideo yakho kumbe ipicture yakho engazange ayicele kuwe ayihambise kwenye indawo, kumele abotshwe. So amapholisa yiwo alomsebenzi omkhulu kakhulu, apart from ama-organization bengaze benza umsebenzi wabo, kodwa ipholisa yilo eli-enforcer i-law. So kuqakathekile ukuthi ipholisa libambe laba bantu abahlukumeza abantu ukuze kube yisibonelo, but nxa kubonakala bonke laba abayibo abahlukumeza abantwana abangamankazana bengenziwa lutho. Kulula ukuthi into yakhona ibe yi-continuity. So kuqakathekile ukuthi amapholisa asebenze abophe abantu bonke laba okuyibo abahlukumeza abadlwengula abantwana abachaya abantwana. Kufanele ukuthi make sure ukuthi bayabotshwa labo lecturer bona laba lama-teacher wona lawa labanye abakuma-organization abahlukumeza abantwana abangamankazana. Kungakhethwa ukuthi umuntu ngwanga ungele bandla liphi kumbe wenzani. Kumele wonke umuntu abotshwe ukuze ba-achieve wonke la goals engiwazileyo ekhulunywa ngama-organization.
Yes, kakhulu.
Maybe Gibbs, let's go to Miss Mugarisi and just understand a little bit. Moving forward, what is your plan regarding some of the issues facing young girls, especially those living in the farming area, like you said you are working with, bearing in mind that yesterday was the International Day of the Girl Child?
All right. Sorry, I didn't hear you properly. Can you repeat your question?
So now she says she's not getting you clearly. So what Marvelous is asking is about the future of the girl children and going forward, how best can you tackle all those problems that they are facing, especially in the farming areas where you are in Mazoe there?
All right, I think the first thing, you can't have a program in a community without involving the community. So community participation is key. We need to involve the parents of these children. We need to involve the girls. We need to involve the community leaders, and we need to involve even the provincial level, then probably cascade it to the national level. We need to have everyone involved to make sure that this project is a success and we keep girls in school. Also, it is critical to really understand the girls we are working with, the girls we want this to be part of this project to be a success. What do they want in life? I think it goes back to the issue of our theme, My Voice, Our Equal Future. We can't force someone that whether you like it or not, you are going to school or you are going to do this. Maybe they are good at other things. What are they good at? Let's support that and make sure that they realize that dream. We can't all be lawyers. We can't all be doctors. We can't all be journalists. There are a lot of things that girls can do, and we really need to find out what that is from those girls, and we work with that. The other thing
muzvare kuti zviri nyore here kuti munyatsonzwisisa zviri kuda vanasikana ava uyezve muchishanda nevabereki vavo kuti zviri kudiwa nevana zvizowanikwa zviri izvo zvamuri kuvabatsira nazvo.
So if you didn't hear, she was saying,
hazvisi nyore.
Oh, okay, quiet.
You can go ahead.
Hazvisi nyore. Vasikana vatiri kushanda navo, vasikana vari mumapurazi, access to information yacho ni kutotanga chaiko. It's an issue. Havana access to the cell phones like takutarisana nevasikana vanenge vari mumadhorobha. Information kuti vaiwane ishoma. Saka munhu anongokura achingoziva kuti kana ndikaenda kuchikoro ndokwanisa kuita teacher, ndokwanisa kuita nurse, ndokwanisa kuita lawyer, ndokwanisa kuita doctor. I think pagroup revasikana vatakataura navo nezuro, 2 vega ndo vakataura kuti pilot. Vamwe vaingotaura zvakafanana because that's what they are exposed to. Saka it's a process kutogara navo pasi, kutora vamwe vari mumafields akasiyana siyana, ingava engineering chaiyo, tovatora toenda navo kumapurazi ikoko, vonotaura nevasikana kungovaonesa kuti kunze uku kune zvakati one day, because exposure in one's career is very, very critical. So it's a process, it's not easy, but I'm sure that if we work together, all the critical pillars and Ataura, the community, the family, the national level, I'm sure we can achieve what we want, and we can make sure that girls do realize their dreams.
Yes, Nkosikazi Tsunga. Nkosikazi Tsunga, masikhangela sibili okwenziwa ngamankazana. Kunengi sibili esikwaziyo ukuthi njalo kwenzakala kibo. Ikakhulu kwendiswa besisebe bancane lezinto ezinjalo. nxa usukhangela ke isociety yeZimbabwe ilokhu patriarchal ukuthi liguqula njani khonokho wona ngombono wakho?
Yebo bengivele ngifuna ukukhuluma ngakho patriarchal values or patriarchal society. Mina ngokubona kwami i-organization yami okumele kwenziwe ukuthi umphakathi wonke umphakathi kumele ufundiswe ukuqakatheka kwentombazana, ukuqakatheka kwamalungelo amantombazana. Baboniswe njalo ukuthi uma bengaqakathekisi amalungelo amantombazana kwenzani, i-impact, i-effect ebakhona ebantwaneni lempilo zabo kunjani. Because nxa bengatshintshanga ukwenza kwabo, konke lokhu kuzawisela phansi imizamo esiyenzayo abantwana. Enye lenye community ingavuka bazilungise bona ngokwabo, basebenze lama-teacher, basebenze lathi ama-organization ukuthi baphakamisele amalungelo abantwana babo abangamantombazane aqhubekele phambili. Yikho ukuthi i-community yabo iphakame, ngoba ukufunda komntwana oyintombazane kuza benefita bona futhi ukuphumelela komphakathi. Banengi abafazi abafundayo asebephakamisa izizwe zabo, asebephakamisa umphakathi wabo, ama-communities abo. So abantombazane kumele bakwazi, bafundiswe, bakwazi ukuthi ukuphumelela kwamantombazane, ukufunda kwamantombazane kubuye kube yinhlanyelo enhle kakhulu kuma-communities abo, azaphinda asebenze ukuphakamisa ama-communities abo. So kumele babone uncedo oluzaba khona ukuthi kunceda bona futhi, not only amantombazane.
So can you put that in English to say, in terms of these child marriages, how best are you tackling them? Looking into issues like, Zimbabwe is a patriarchal society. So how do you get around it?
Okay, regarding the patriarchal values, we need to actually go back and assess all those patriarchal values as to who are they benefiting at this current moment. If you say a girl should not get educated or a girl should actually be married at an early age, who is benefiting out of that? You might actually have maybe a short-term benefit of 2 cows. But those 2 cows will not help you will not eradicate poverty. But look at the long-term plan of educating a girl child. That girl child might go to university, become an engineer, become a pilot, become a doctor, and so on. And the benefit, she will come back to the community to help that community. So the whole community benefits, the household benefits. But if it's just a child marriage, even the family will not even be lifted out of its poverty. But educating a girl, the girl will come back and uplift the living standard of the household and the community. So it reduces the poverty level. So we need to actually educate the communities, make them understand that child marriages are not saving anyone, are not progressive anymore. So we need to actually change the mindset of many communities so that they actually appreciate the rights of the girl child, the education of the girl child, so that they are supportive even to support this Education Amendment Act, so that they allow even the girls who fall pregnant to go back to school and pursue their education, because it is only through education that we are going to fight poverty, reduce household poverty, reduce poverty in communities. Without education, we are not going to be able to win the war.
Ndombobvunza ipapo emaitsunga kuti asi zviri nyore here zvirongwa izvi, vabereki vari kuzvitambira sei munzvimbo dzamuri kuenda muchiedza kunodzidzisa nyanya iyoyi yamuri kutaura yekuti vanasikana vawanikwewo vachipiwa mukana wokuti vadzokere kuzvikoro kunyangwe havo vawanikwa vachibata pamuviri sezviri kutaurwa nehurumende?
Hazvisi nyore, because it's hazvisi nyore nekuti urikuedza kuchinja mafungiro evanhu. Vanhu vanenge vane mavalues avanawo, kuchinja mafungiro evanhu zvinonetsa, asi tiri kuedza kuti vaone kuti vana vadzokere kuzvikoro, asi atikuitira kuti tiri kuencourage promiscuity sezvavari kutaura, but tiri kutarisira remangwana remwana kuti as long as mwana musikana akawana dzidzo anobudirira, asi akasawana dzidzo anongoramba achitenderera muthat poverty kusvika ameno, nekuti anenge asina chikoro, haagoni kuwana basa riri nani, haagoni kutaurawo achitaura zvaari kuda nezvakadaro. Zvakaoma, asi hatifaniri kugive up. Tinofanira kuramba tichiedza tichivadzidzisa, tichibatsirana naanasabhuku, tichibatsirana ne-influential people in the communities kuti vataure kuti kuenda kwemwana kuchikoro even ane pamwiri. Tarisai remangwana racho, musatarise zvanhasi, tarisai kuti ari kuendere, tiri kuzviitire chii? Tiri kuzviitira kuti mwana arambe achidzidza, mwana iyeyo apedzisire awana dzidzo yake even though ane pamwiri, because at the end of the day tikasati vaende kuchikoro, which means they are destined to a perpetual life of poverty. Hapana zvataita, but akaramba achienda kuchikoro anopedzisira abudirira even though ane pamwiri. Mistake yaitika now ngaisashandiswe as a punishment yekuti the future yake yese yakuraswa nekuti aita pamwiri. Ngativavakidzire vana ivava vadzokere kuzvikoro, vadzidze, tichivasapota. At the same time tichikurudzira ava vasina pamwiri kuti vasabatewo pamwiri, nekuti haisi nyori kudzidza munhu ane pamwiri. Saka tofanira kuenda navo vese.
So marvelous. I think we've got a video from a lady who is at NUST, that is the National University of Science and Technology. Let's listen to what she's saying about life generally in Zimbabwe.
Ibizo lami nginguJane Kiwane and ngivela eNUST, ngifunda ngaphansi kwe-journalism department, ngisesigabeni sami sokucina. I-Day of the Girl Child ibaluleke kakhulu because kuyasithabisa lathi njengamankazana ukuthi uhulumende lamanye ama-relevant organization they still recognize i-girl child, the importance of a girl child. So like kade ngifuna ukukhuluma ukuthi kuseselo umsebenzi omkhulu okumele umphakathi unanzelele emntwaneni mayelana nabantwana abangamankazana, lama-challenges esiwafesayo. Ama-challenges esiwafesayo as girl children nxa sikuma-tertiary institutions or even in society ukuthi like asila knowledge yokuthi singazivikela njani ezintweni ezingaphambanisi kusasa lethu, and even lokuthi singazivikela njani engcilazini ama-early pregnancies. So kade sicela nje ukuthi government lama-organizations esincedise like ukwenza ama-workshops, ukwenza ama-adverts, anything to reach out to the girl child kuma-tertiary institutions, kuma-churches and everywhere, ukuthi like they should reach out to the girl child, bebatshele about the importance of education, the importance of preventing pregnancy, the importance of protecting yourself against STIs and HIV. And then okunye oku-affecta i-girl child i-gender, like gender-based violence. Yathola ukuthi ngibo umama lobaba bayalwa, i-boyfriend yakhe yamchaya, uyahamba streetini, she gets gang raped and everything, and her life is destroyed. So like we're appealing to our organizations would like they should conscientize the society ngama effects of gender-based violence. It's very detrimental to our lives, especially of women, because women, as you know, they are the weaker sex.
There she is. You know, she's talking about many issues there, and one of them is about gender-based violence.
Yes, I think
that's a big problem.
We saw Plan International coming in when we had the discussion with Angela Machonese earlier on. And she also highlighted the issue of gender-based violence being one of the issues that they're seeing, especially during this COVID-19 lockdown pandemic that the world and Zimbabwe are facing. So, you know, it's a problem that I think, you know, and it's good that it's actually coming from someone, a student who's at a college, for us to just see that it's not only happening in the households, but also at educational institutions. And I saw that she was calling for the government to perhaps put in place measures to make sure that the girl child is protected there.
Yes, I think we've got another case, but before going to that case, let's talk to Noktula Adonsi. I know she wants to go now. So Noktula Adonsi, your last word in terms of abantwana kumele kwenziweni kuyiwa phambili. Ngomfutshane.
Oh, okay. Ngicela comment about the issue of sexual abuse in universities and colleges. It have become a norm because nothing is being done. Nothing is being done. Girls are being violated because if you don't allow a lecturer to touch you or do whatever he wants, then he is going to fail you. Just imagine when we have to think of failing after the money that your parents have spent for a longer period of time, then you just fail. It is really unfair. So it's very important for the government to do something about it because it has become a norm now. It's something that is it's something that is now very obvious. It's normal. It's no longer a big deal. It's like something very normal that everyone wants to. We have to go to college or we have to go to university. Definitely have to go through that for her to pass or get big favors. It has to stop because there are some people that they don't want. There are some students, there are some girls that they don't want to go through that. So let no be a no. So I think it is very important for the government to do something about it. And then,
Okay. 1 minute, just 1 minute. That's in the bed. 1 minute.
mina ngithi i-government kumele isebenze nzima. Siyazi ukuthi kule mithetho efakwayo i-government kayilandele imithetho efakwayo. Kababotshwe abantu abahlukumeza abantwana, kababotshwe abantu aba-involved with domestic violence, kababotshwe bonke abantu abahlukumeza umntwana oyintombazana. Akula sizathu sokuthi abantu bahlale bengabotshwa. Nxa ukuthi abantu bengabotshwa wonke umuntu uzayenza the same thing ngoba uyakwazi ukuthi akula ma-consequences azaba khona. So kufanele ukuthi lalapho besebenza nzima abama-organization kufanele ukuthi lalabo aba-violate abantwana kumele ukuthi u-government amake sure ukuthi labo aba-violatayo bayajeziswa ukuze kusasa ukuze babe protected abantwana abangamantombazana.
Siyabonga kakhulu-ke. I think we're joined by another guest. Marvelous.
Yes, makadi mai Lucy Ndongwe Chikowera.
Tiripo makadi Simave.
Aiwa tiri wadimotitaurirawo zita reorganization yenyu uyezve nezvatakaona zvichiitika nezuro pazuva reInternational Day of the Girl Child.
Okay, organization yedu inonzi MTC Educate a Girl Inc. I-organization yakatangwa nemwana ane makore 15 ari based kuUnited States, anotamba bhora zvakare anoswima. Asi organization iri mainly operational kuChimanimani uyezve inoshanda neboka reRosaria Memorial Trust kuShamva nekwaMurewa. Nezuro kuburikidza neUnited Nations chapter iri kuMadison inonzi of Dan County nechikoro chikuru chinonzi University of Wisconsin Madison vakawanikwa vachipemberera zuva guru revanasikana pasi rino rose rinonzi International Day of the Girl Child. Saka mwanasikana wangu uyu wandareva anonzi Maka Chikowero, sezvo ari founder weorganization yeMTC, akadaidzwa kuti azova keynote speaker pazuva iri nekuti mwanasikana zvakare ari kushanda nekukurudzira kodzero dzevanasikana nekuvadzosera kuchikoro nekuti vawanikwa vachitamba bhora nekuti vaite ma-entrepreneurial skills, imparting entrepreneurial skills kuvanasikana nekukurudzira mashoko ekuti kusarodzwa kwevana vadiki. Saka izvozvo experience iyoyo akawanikwa achinzi ngaauye azove the keynote speaker pazuva iri.
Saka zvii zvakabuda pamusangano iwoyu wakaitwa?
akawanikwa achikurudzira vanhu vose pasi rino kuchengetedza kodzero dzevanasikana, kuchengetedza gender equality, kusimudzira gender equality, zvakare kusimudzira kudzidziswa kwevanasikana kuti musasarudze. Akataura zvakare nenyaya dzekuti pane zvakabuda mumagwaro mazuva apfuura zvekuti pane vana vakawanda chaizvo kumanikaland vakatadza kudzokera kuchikoro, vasiri kuzokwanisa kudzokera kuchikoro nenyaya dzekuti vakawanikwa vari kunorodzwa. So ndo nyaya dzaakanga achifamba nadzo achiti aiwa ngatitsvage nzira dzekudzivirira vana kuti vaende kunoroorwa. Iye munoona neorganization yake panguva yapfuura iyi kuti vanhu vagadzirire kuenda kuchikoro akawanikwa achidonata maface masks kune nherera pane vana vakarasikirwa nevabereki munguva yecyclone idai yakawanikwa ichiwira Zimbabwe last year. Anovaendesera mafood packages. Akamboita fundraiser pafacebook ipapa. Saka svondo rino vachange vachitambira chikafu chiri kunopuwa nherera idzodzi, ende dzimwe dzacho dziri child headed nevanasikana. Saka kuti vasawanikwa vachienda kuzonge vachikwezvwa nevanhu vachiuya kuzovati ndokupa dhora iri kuti ndikwanise kunge ndichirara newe, ari kuedza kutsvaga chikafu kuti awanikwa achidzivirira kuti zvakadaro zvisaitika.
Well, thank you so much there, Ms. Lucy Ndongwe Chikwera. I know you said you are not staying for long, so thank you for participating. Ndomboenda kuna Ms. Vivian Mugarisi. Manzwa zvanga zviri kutaurwa namai Chikwera vachitaura kuti pane mwana wechidiki ari muno muAmerica anonzi Maka Chikwera, mwana wava ne 15 years, ari kuita iye basa rekubatsira vamwe vana vechidiki. Zvakakosha sei kuti tione mabasa akadai achikurudzirwa kana muvana vedu isusu vari kuno?
Zvinhu zvakakosha nekuti kana ukaenda kune vana vechidiki ukavaudza kuti zvakadai zvinoitika havazvinzwisisi, asi kana paine mumwe mwana wezera ravo they can relate to that and ndokunotobva inspiration. Saka zvakakosha kuti izvoni vechidiki vaive vanhu vane confidence dzekumira even pane maplatforms akakura kudai, so tivape platform iyoyo nekuti maissues atiri kupusha aya they concern vana vadiki. Saka who better than young people to push their agenda? Dingindira redu ritongotaura kuti futi my voice our equal future. Future yatava kutotaura isava vanhu vakuru, future yatava kutaura future yevana ivava vasikana vadiki. Saka zvakakosha kuti izvoni tipe vanasikana ivava mukana, ngavataure zviri kuvanetsa, ngavataurewo futi avanofungidzira kuti angava ma-solutions.
Mrs. Nsunga, if you can come in and just comment on what we saw. Ms. Lucy Ndongwe Chikwera, coming in here from the United States, saying that her daughter is involved in a program where she's working with the United Nations to try and highlight some of these issues facing the youth. How important is it for the youth themselves to be involved in some of these programs?
See that a young girl, a 15-year-old girl, has taken up an initiative to support young girls back home, even though I believe when she is in the United States, she is in a more privileged country, in a more privileged situation that she could actually be enjoying that privileged position or life that she has. But instead of doing that, she is actually concerned about other girls that are back home who might actually be disadvantaged, not getting as much as she is getting, and creating and making an initiative to help out. It is actually very, very important to have such a girl being a voice for other girls, because the theme of this year's day is my voice. She is using her voice to speak on behalf of other children who are not able to voice for themselves. Many girls, especially in rural areas, do not have a voice. So they need people to speak for them. They need people to articulate their challenges. If we could have more girls like her in the diaspora, we've got many many Zimbabweans in the diaspora, if we could have maybe 10 of them working towards helping other girls in Zimbabwe, we could actually achieve a lot. Just raising the voice of the girls, telling the world of the challenges that the girls are actually facing in Zimbabwe and helping out where they can. It is very important, and we appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Amai Tsunga. Regai tione kuti tinenge tine mumwe munyarikani here aripo ada kupinda.
Yes, marvelous. We've got a video sent by Nomtandazo Nkomazana. She is in Mumbai, India, and she wants to pass a message to girls. Let's hear what she's saying here.
Girl Child Day leli lilanga eliqakatheke kakhulu ebantwaneni bethu abangamantombazana ngoba endulo babengaqakathekiswa babengelamalungelo njengabanye abantwana, kodwa manje siyajabula ngoba nanku-ke abantwana bethu sebesiwa ezikoleni, nanku-ke abantwana bethu abangamantombazana yiwo abasebephambili.
Quite marvelous with the challenge a little bit.
Mike, yes, I think there we were having challenges, but I think she was trying to pass on a message to the girl child from India. It's interesting that we have a lot of young people that are actually interested in making a difference in Zimbabwe. So there we saw another Zimbabwean in India trying to pass her own greetings or what she thinks of the day, the International Day of the Girl Child. But unfortunately, there were challenges with the audio.
I think now it should be okay now, marvelous. Just hold on there. Let's try it again to hear.
Girl Child Day leli lilanga eliqakatheke kakhulu ebantwaneni bethu abangamantombazana ngoba endulo babengaqakathekiswa babengelamalungelo njengabanye abantwana, kodwa manje siyajabula ngoba nanku-ke abantwana bethu sebesiwa ezikoleni, nanku-ke abantwana bethu abangamantombazana yiwo abasebephambili ezikolweni, sebengamatitsha, sebengamanesi, sebengamaloya. Ngakho siyajabula ngoba ilanga leli liyasikhuthaza ukuthi sihambise nje abantwana bethu ezikoleni, liyasikhuthaza ukuthi amalungelo abafanele abantwana abangamantombazana.
So that's a message, from Mumbai. She's saying girls have got a right too,
Yes, very interesting message there.
Very.
Like we said earlier on, tinongotenda vese nyanya madzimai vechidiki vatiri kuona vamwe vari kuuyawo vachitaurawo pfungwa dzavo vari kunzvimbo dzakadai sekuindia nekumwewo. Taona mumwe musikana wechidiki ari muno muamerica, Maka Chikowero, achiitawo basa ari kuUnited Nations uko anga ari kutaura pamusoro penhunha dziri kutarisana nevana vechidiki. Ane makore 15 Gibbs.
Yes, marvelous. I think we've come to the end of our show, and we really appreciate that our guests came today, to say whatever they have, and they said it. So now I wish to thank Noktula Adonsi, who is a gender activist, Sibusisiwe Ndlovu of Plan International. She's the Zimbabwe Communications Manager. Vetu Tsunga, Director, Itemba for Girls Trust. She's based in Mutare, that is Manicaland Province. Vivian Mukarisi, a Communications Officer, Farming Community Educational Trust in Mazowe. And then Mrs. Lucy Chindongwe Chikowero. She is a Zimbabwean living in Wisconsin, here in USA. And signing off from Maryland, this is Gibbs Dube.
And I'm Marvelous Mhlanganya, who is signing off from Washington, D.C. Let's meet again tomorrow on Let's Talk.
Goodbye. Okay, we are done, Marvelous. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.